Alright, so I recently did a video on my last match of the year, and in that video I talked about the fact that I just rebarreled my 7 SAUM right before the match and worked up a load the day before and was really happy with how it all performed in that very short amount of time to get everything done. And something I mentioned in that video was the fact that this barrel that I had rechambered my 7 SAUM with was a very special barrel to me because it was a shouldered prefit. And there seemed to be a lot of interest in the fact that I was able to get a shouldered prefit for my Tikka action. So I figured I'd do a full video on where you might be able to get a shouldered prefit for your Tikka action, as well as any action that you can think of, just an awesome barrel company, whether it's a shouldered or standard barrel nut system prefit for any action that you could possibly think of. As a matter of fact, Joey has seen how well my McGowan barrels have been shooting for me, and he just installed a McGowan barrel on his 338 Lapua and has been extremely happy with how well it shoots as well. All the videos that you guys have seen me do, all the ELR videos with the 7 SAUM, all of the match videos, all of the shooting tiny things far away, all of that was done on my 7 SAUM with McGowan barrels, and I've been extremely happy. I would almost go as far as to say that these McGowan barrels have been my most accurate prefit barrels that I've ever owned, and that's saying quite a bit because I've had a lot of prefit barrels. So what is a shouldered barrel versus a standard prefit barrel? So this is a standard prefit. As a matter of fact, this is the exact same barrel. Both these are 30-inch straight, no taper barrels, same threading on the muzzle, all of it. The only difference is you'll see this has a barrel nut. So to install this barrel on this action, and this is going to be my next barrel, mind you, I don't see any difference in accuracy from a shouldered barrel to a barrel nut system prefit. But there is some differences in aesthetics as well as ease of installation. So if I was to install this barrel, which will be my next barrel, which will be installed as soon as this one is burnt out, on this action, I would have to take my go gauge, stick it in here, lock it in place, and then tighten my barrel down onto the go gauge, and then lock everything in place with the barrel nut. This, being a shouldered prefit, all you have to do is tighten the barrel down to spec, so whatever foot-pounds of energy or whatever foot-pounds of torque that you need to tighten your barrel down, tighten it down to spec, and then check it with your go and no-go gauges, and you're off to the races. This thing checked out perfect. It was head spaced absolutely perfectly, and right out of the bat for a Tikka action that they never even saw ahead of time. Now, why are they able to do this for Tikka actions? Tikka actions are just so consistent out of the box that as far as I'm aware, there's only 2 manufacturers doing this that are able to cut shouldered prefits for Tikka actions. McGowan is the one that I go with. I have had really good luck with them, as well as they're fairly cost effective in comparison to some of the other prefit barrels, especially the higher cost prefit barrels that I have not seen any difference in the accuracy between McGowan and those barrels. But like I said, so the couple of things that are a big benefit to the prefit, to the shoulder prefit, are the fact that it's tighten it down, check it, and you're ready to go, as well as it's much more aesthetically pleasing. If somebody who knows what they're looking at looks at a action that's got a shouldered barrel on it, typically they're going to look at that and think, oh, this is a more accurate rifle, than if they look at it and it's got a barrel nut system on it. Now, like I said, I don't believe that in the slightest. I have not seen anything to back up the fact that a shouldered barrel is more accurate than a standard barrel nut prefit. But it is definitely more aesthetically pleasing, and it's just cleaner to look at, whereas the barrel meets up with the action. There's nothing in between there holding it in place. Typically, to have a shoulder barrel cut for most actions, you're going to have to send your action into a gunsmith, get your barrel, and they're going to have to head space the barrel to your gun or to your action they're going to have to head space the barrel on your action to make sure everything lines up correctly. Because Tikka actions are so consistent, McGowan is now able to cut you a shouldered barrel without even having to have your action, because they know what the dimensions are going to be in the Tikka action. Like I said, McGowan is a full service barrel company, so they offer barrels for, you can get a prefit. Now, as far as I'm aware of, and they may correct me on this, but as far as I am personally aware of, Tikka is the only action that they offer the shouldered prefits in. But if you are looking to get a prefit barrel for a good price that is absolutely going to be an accurate barrel, from everything I have seen, They offer barrels for Brownings, Enfields, pretty much any Browning, Enfields, any Howa, any Marlin, any Mauser, Mosin-Nagants, Remington in the 700 or the 783, Rugers, Savages, all the different Savages, Springfields, Tikkas, Weatherbys, Winchesters, metric shanks, and 50 BMG. So any of those actions, you are able to get a pre-fit barrel from McGowan. And like I said, you've seen the accuracy that I've been able to get out of mine, and this one is just as accurate as the last one. They will obviously cut them in stainless or chromoly. You can get them from any caliber, and one of the awesome things that I was really impressed with about McGowan, when I first went to order my first 7 SAUM barrel for my Tikka, I went to look, and I knew 7 SAUM was the caliber that I wanted, or the cartridge that I wanted. But one of the things that when I went to their 7mm and looked at all the different cartridges they offer, they had reamers for things that I didn't even know existed. Like I said, I knew 7 SAUM was what I wanted, but I was extremely impressed with all the different reamers that they had. As well as, it doesn't just, not just 7mm, every different caliber, they could pretty much cut you anything you could possibly think of. And they do that from 17 caliber all the way up to 577. So it doesn't matter what caliber you're looking to cut, McGowan offers you a pre-fit in that caliber for pretty much any action. They do all the standard muzzle threading and any different thread pattern that you might want, as well as custom. They will cut your barrels for barrel tuners. So if you have a barrel tuner that requires a special cut, you just have to call them and notate that that's what you need done. They will do that as well. Like I said, a full service barrel company. They offer from 18 to 32 inch. And if you were to look at as far as price comparison, this particular barrel cost me $430. So for a 30 inch straight no taper, they do any contour you could think of. So my last contoured barrel was a heavy Palma, but if you look at their list of barrel contourings, they have contours just like in the calibers and cartridges, they have contours that I didn't even know existed. So they have all the major manufacturer contours, as well as any of the standard contours that you typically see. My last one was a heavy Palma. This is a straight no taper, as well as this being a straight no taper. One of the things I will mention is the fact that if you were to get a shouldered barrel that was from a different manufacturer and you were to have a gunsmith install that shouldered barrel, most of the time it's going to be, if you were doing a straight no taper, now if you're having a different contour cut, this doesn't apply, but if you're doing a straight no taper, typically those are going to be 1 1/4 inch. These are all 1 1/8, even the shouldered barrel 1 1/8 straight no taper, as well as even Joey's Savage was his straight no taper on that Savage was a 1 1/8. So what you will not be able to get the 1 1/4 inch, but that is the only difference I've seen in and I do believe that's all just because they're a pre-fit manufacturer, and pre-fits typically have smaller shanks, and because of that you're not able to offer that full 1 1/4. But beyond that, McGowan, you guys have seen the accuracy I've been getting out of it. Now they're offering these shouldered pre-fits, 4 Tikka actions, which was, when I called to order the second one, was something I didn't even know they were doing, and they told me that, oh well, now we're offering shouldered pre-fits for the Tikkas. So that got me extremely excited. I was kind of leery if it was going to headspace correctly. It headspaced absolutely perfect. So if you guys are looking to rebarrel your rifle, doesn't have to be just a shoulder pre-fit for a Tikka, but any rifle, any action that you have, McGowan may be a company you want to look at. You guys have seen the luck that I've had out of them. I've seen a lot more people starting to run the McGowan barrels because they've been noticing the same things that I have. So I hope this helps. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.